Hello everyone, good morning. Can you confirm audible or not? Can you hear me? So, where we stopped in the last session? Where we stopped in the last session? The last session we discussed about what is dynamically typed programming language or not. I said like Python is like a dynamically typed programming language, right? Dynamically typed programming language. So, what is dynamically typed programming language? Hmm? If it is like a Java, okay, Java is not dynamically typed programming language, but Python is like a dynamically typed programming language. What is dynamically typed programming language? If you take like Java, what happened? If it is like a Python, what happened in the background? Whenever you create a variable, whenever you create a variable, let's take like a Java, int a equals to 100 or 1000, int a equals to 1000. Now, if you take like Java, whenever you create a variable, int a equals to 1000, for example, the amount. Whenever you create a variable in Java, okay, first there has three sections we have. If you observe, this is one section, this is one section, and this is one section. Overall, three sections we have. The first section we can say like a data type. Next one is like a variable name. The next one is like a initial value. Initial value. In Java, whenever you create a variable, first what happened? Based on the data type. What is the data type here? What is the data type? What is the data type? Int is the data type. Based on the data type, based on the data type, first it allocates the memory or not. Based on the data type, first it allocates the memory. If it is like int, how much memory it is going to allocate? 4 bytes memory in Java. If it is like int, it allocates 4 bytes memory in Java. Okay. Now this memory location is there, right? Memory is nothing but space. Okay. This location address pointing with this name. The location address pointing with this name. So the address name, the memory location name is like what? Variable name or not? In that particular address, okay, already memory allocated. In that particular address, 1000 they keep it. Okay, they keep like 1000. Now see, in this particular 4 bytes memory, okay, 1000 they keep it, and that particular memory location name is like what? That particular memory location name is like what? Memory location name is like a amount or not? Yes or no? So see, this much space is there. In this space, you can keep like 1000, no problem at all. No problem at all. Done. Now take one more case. Now this time int amount equals to, this is the one. Now int amount equals to this one. Int amount equals to this one. Whenever you create a variable in Java, what happened? Whenever you create a variable in Java, first, based on the data type, they allocate the memory or not. So int is my data type, they allocate the memory first. How much memory? In Java, int, how much memory they allocated? Just remember, 4 bytes. 4 bytes memory they allocated. Yes. The memory address, okay, memory is nothing but space. This location name address is what? The location is pointing with your variable name. Variable name. Done. Now after that, This particular value they are going to keep inside that 4 bytes memory. Now tell me, this 4 bytes memory is enough is enough to keep this much big number? Here, okay, this is my space, I can easily keep like 1000. But here what happened? Here what happened? The memory space is this much only. I have a big number. It was exceeded or not? See this. It was exceeded or not? In this case, you can get an error in Java. Integer number is too long. Integer number is too long. Like this, you can get one error. Integer number is too long. Like this you can get one error. Okay, so that in Java, in .NET, they not allocate the memory dynamically. They allocated the memory first. After that, they are going to keep the value inside the memory or not. If the value is like 4 bytes memory or less than 4 bytes memory required, then that time that's okay. If the value requires more than 4 bytes memory, that time it is going to gives an error like what? Integer number is like too large. Integer number is like too large. Like this, you can get an error or not. Agree with me, all? Okay, now in this case, what I'm trying to say is the memory allocated to this particular value dynamically, na, or the memory allocated first and then they keep the value inside the memory, na. The memory allocated dynamically to the value, or the memory allocated first and then they are going to keep the value inside the memory, na. First one or second one in Java? First one or second one? In Java, first allocated the memory. First they allocated the memory. Yes or no? First they allocated the memory and then okay, they are trying to keep our value inside that memory or not. That memory is like enough to that value, that's okay, no error, nothing. But the memory is not enough to keep that particular value, that time you can get this kind of errors or not. Okay, integer number is too long. Like this you can get the errors. Understood? In Java, in .NET, any programming language, C, C++, any programming languages which are like not dynamically typed programming languages, okay, this is the procedure. This is the procedure. Allocated memory first and then keep the value inside the memory. Okay, come to Python and JavaScript. Come to Python and JavaScript. Come to Python and JavaScript. Python, how we can create a variable? No data type, nothing. Amount equals to this one. Amount equals to this one. The variable definition is common. The variable definition is what? Memory location address is there, right? Memory address name is called as a variable, right? Okay, now in Python what happened, whenever you create a variable, okay, whenever you're trying to use that variable, the variable value is this much, right? This particular value, how much memory is required? Okay, how much memory is required? They allocated dynamically like this. They allocated dynamically like this. Now see this much big number is there. They not allocated memory first. Whenever you use this particular variable, how much memory is required to that particular value, okay, they allocated the memory dynamically or not. See here, the another variable is there. For example, number 1 is equals to 10. Number 1 equals to 10. Whenever you try to use this number 1, they allocated how much memory is required? This much memory. This much memory they are going to allocate. That means based on this particular value, dynamically how much memory is required, that much memory they are going to allocate or not. In Python and JavaScript, they not allocated the memory first and keep the value inside the memory. To the value how much is required, that is this much only enough. Okay, That much only they are going to allocate dynamically. This much memory is required. Okay, that much memory only they are going to allocate it dynamically or not. So here, if you observe the to this particular value, they allocated the memory not first. They allocated the memory whenever they're trying to use this value. That time they allocated the memory how much is required, that much or not. In this case, there is no too long. Okay, that kind of error. So because how much is required, that much memory is allocated, right? Then where that case is like, okay, the memory is not enough, that kind of cases we not face in our Python. Why? Because they allocated the memory for the value dynamically. Understood? That the reason Python is like which kind of programming language? Python is like a dynamically typed programming language. Python is like a dynamically typed programming language. Understood, everyone? Java is not dynamically typed programming language. C not, CPP not, .NET not. These all not. Why? Because they allocated memory first and then try to keep the value in the memory. But Python, JavaScript, these are like a dynamically typed programming languages. Why? Because they allocated the memory for the variable value dynamically. How much is required, that much they are going to allocate. Agreed with me, all are? Come on, all are agreed? Anyone have any questions? Up to here, okay or not? Any questions, anyone? Okay, you can type in chat if you have any questions up to here. If not, we can move forward. Okay, the next one, data types in Python. Okay, this is very, very important. Data types in Python. Okay, now what is data type? In the name itself, okay, you can get the answer. Data types, okay, what is data type means? You have some data, number or string. Okay, simply you can say like a alphanumeric values or some symbols. These all are come under what? Data only or not? Okay, data type is nothing but what kind of data that is? Those are like numbers, those are like strings, okay, what kind of data that is? Okay, that means if you observe this one, see here, this is my variable name, and this variable name is assigned. This variable is assigned with what? This is the value or not? Assigned with value. The variable is nothing but this is the memory location, right? This memory location address we can say like a variable or not. Here the data type is nothing but in this memory, okay, some data or some value stored, right? The type of this particular value we can say like what? Data type. That's it. We can say like what? Data type. In Python, the variable is pointing to, okay, some memory location. The variable is like pointing to some memory location. This is my memory location. The variable is pointing to that particular location. In that location, there has some value stored or not. That value type, we can say like what? Data type or not. The value type, we can say like a data type. The data which is stored in the memory, the type of that particular data, we can say like a data types. That's it. But here, again, you can see Java. Whenever you create a variable, if I write like this, okay, in Java, in Python, whenever you create a variable, okay, you can write like this. See the difference. If you observe this one, if you observe this one, okay, individually you can check. If you see this, by seeing this one, okay, you can say like my n1 value may be a number or something like this, you can say. But if you observe this one, see, in the name itself you can come to know, right? The name itself you can come to know or not. See the name, what is the name? Int n1 equals to 10. What is my int? It is like a type of your data which is stored in the memory location or not. See here, int, it is like a integer data, string data, boolean data. Okay, like that we can represent the type of that particular memory. Okay, the memory contains which kind of value, that value type we defined at the time of defining the variable only or not in Java .NET, like that. But if you come to the Python, here variable creation is like this or not. Whenever you create a variable, did you mention any type here? There is no type, nothing. At the time of creating the variable, here there is no type, nothing. But this particular data is there now, this 10. Now it's 10, in future Sachin, in future some other. Okay, this one I can say like a data or not, yes or no? In the memory this is like a data, this data type. Okay, directly if you see like this you don't know, but each and every data has their own type or not. We are going to discuss about this particular data types. Okay, what kind of type? Okay, this data maybe, my data maybe which kind of type? It's like a integer or number. Okay, number, integer, okay, integer or string or list or set or like this, different data types are there. Now if you see the difference here again, string, string name equals to such a, if you see this particular statement in Java, you can understand my name is like which type, string type or not. But if you come to Python, you are going to write like this, this is my variable creation. Do we have any data type to my variable directly? No, no, there is no data type, nothing. Syntactically this is valid in Python, syntactically this is my syntax to create a string variable in Java. But the thing is, whenever you see this variable, you can understand name is like a string type. So it holds what? It holds what? String data only or not. But here, do we have any that kind of types to the variable? There is no type, nothing. In Python, to my variable directly, there is no type, nothing. But the variable holds some data. Na? This is my data or not? Okay, this is the data. Okay, this data type is what I want to find it. This data type is what I want to find it manually from my end. But Java, what happened? Directly they only defined the type or not at the time of creating the variable or not. Yes or no? Got my point? Now one more case you can take. In Java or C, int number equals to such a, is it valid or invalid? In Java or .NET, C, CPP, int number equals to such. Is it valid or invalid? Now see, it is like a invalid in Java. Why? Because integer number equals to such. The data type for this particular number is what? The data type for this particular number is what? Integer or not? Okay, whenever you create a variable in Java, Java is not dynamically typed programming language. That's the reason what happened. First, they allocate the memory or not. First, they allocate the memory. Okay, the memory they allocated based on the data type. Can anyone tell me what is the data type here? Integer, right? Yes or no? This is my data type or not? This is my data type. This is my data type. Yes. Integer. How much memory? Come on. How much memory allocated? If it is like integer in Java, 4 bytes memory. Okay. Pointing with what? Pointing with what? That memory location, the memory address is what? Number. The memory address is like what? Number or not? Yes. Now they try to keep this search inside this one or not. But what happened, in Java, if it is the data is like a string type, they requires 8 bytes memory. But here, how much memory is available? 4 bytes or not? That the reason, they given like an error. Before throwing this error, they written one syntactical error, kind of mismatching data type. Hey, you are trying to create a variable with integer data type, but you are trying to keep which kind of data? String data. Anyway, at the time of memory location, it is going to fail. So that before that only they are going to give an error. Int number equals to Sachin. They are going to give like a type mismatch error. Now if you see here, online Java editor. You can open any Java. Now here, if I write integer number equals to Sachin, number equals to Sachin. If I write, see this, what happened? Incompatible type or not? Why? Because here number you created with integer type, but you are trying to assign with what? You are trying to assign with what? Sachin. It's a string value or not? So which are not dynamically typed programming languages, those are like type strict or not? Type strict is nothing but exactly you created a variable with which data type, with which data type, that kind of similar kind of data only you have to store or not. Here you created like what? Integer data type variable, but you're trying to keep what? String value. That's the reason it gives me incompatible type error or not. String cannot be converted to int, something like this. Yes or no? The programming languages which are not dynamically typed programming languages, those are like a type. Those type is like strict. The type is like strict or not? Type strict or not? Yes or no? If you come to the Python, if you come to the Python, if you come to the Python, name equals to 10. What happened? Amount equals to such. What happened? What happened? Nothing, right? Why? Because here there is no data type, nothing. The variable can hold any kind of data or not. The variable can hold any kind of data in Python. Why? Because in Python there is no type definition at the time of variable creation or not. We not mention the type for the variable at the time of variable creation or not. At the same time, it is a dynamically typed programming languages. Dynamically typed programming languages, there is no type strict, nothing. But dynamically typed programming languages like Python, JavaScript, there is no type, nothing at the time of creating the variables. But which are not dynamically typed programming languages like Java, C, CPP, .NET, they followed the type strictly. You create a variable with which data type, that particular data only you have to assign. Other than that, int number equals to such, it is not valid or not. Understood everyone? Up to here, okay? In Java, int number equals to 10, valid or invalid? In Java, int number equals to 10, valid or invalid? Come on, fast, tell me.
Valid.
It's like a valid. In Java, int number equals to valid or invalid? Come on, in general.
Valid.
It's a invalid. By seeing this one, you can say like a valid. But integer number allocated how much memory in Java? For integer, how much memory they allocated? It's not a dynamically typed programming language. 4
4.
bytes memory. 4 bytes memory. 4 bytes is little limited space. In that limited space, it's not able to keep this one. It is exceeded or not? Number is too long. Is too long. This kind of error you may get it in Java or C or wherever it is. It's like a invalid. The next one. int name equals to Sachin, valid or invalid in Java?
Invalid.
It's like a invalid. What kind of error? Type mismatching or not? Incompatible, compatible type. By seeing this one, what you can understand. Okay, by seeing this one, okay, which kind of data, okay, that means the variable you created, like which kind of data type, the same data type only it's allowed, so that it's valid. Okay, here it is not a dynamically typed programming language. First, allocate the 4 bytes memory. This memory is not enough to store this data, so that number is like too long error. You can get it in Java. Here, if you come, okay, integer name equals to Sachin. You create a variable with which data type? Integer, but you're trying to keep which data? You're trying to keep which data? String data, so that it's a compatible incompatible type or not. This statement tells you, okay, it's like a type strict. This statement tells you it's not a dynamically typed programming language. This statement tells you it's a type script, okay, type strict, exactly which kind of data, okay, which kind of data type, the same data type only you have to assign the value. At the same time, 4 bytes means less than or equals to 4 bytes data only you have to assign. That time it's like valid or not. Understood? Up here, okay? Come on, come to the Python now. Come to the Python now. Number equals to 10, valid or invalid? Number equals to 10, valid or invalid? Valid. Okay, number equals to valid or invalid?
Valid.
100% valid. Okay, number equals to Sachin, valid or invalid? It is also valid or not? It is also valid. Why? The first one is like very simple. There is no type for the variable. It can hold any kind of data or not. First thing. Okay, there is no type for the variable. At the same time, the variable value can be anything. How much memory is required? Dynamically they allocate the memory for this particular value or not? There is no chance to get okay, memory, no enough memory, that kind of errors or not? Yes or no? Why? Because it's a which kind of programming language? Dynamically typed programming language or not? Yes or no? Okay, this one, tell me. This one, tell me. Number Sachin. Okay, here there is no type, nothing like Java. It can hold any kind of data or not. So 100% valid or not. Okay, my data equals to, okay, something like this. It's valid or invalid? My data equals to something like this. It's valid or invalid? Come on. Valid or invalid?
Valid.
Okay. Can I write like this? My data equals to, okay, what happened? Can you read that? First, can you read this? This is which kind of error? Syntax error or runtime error? Syntax error or runtime error? This is which kind of error? Come on, which kind of error?
Syntax error.
Syntax error or not? Syntax error is nothing but, okay, who introduced this programming language? That person or that organization, okay, gives you some set of guidelines and rules you have to follow. Okay, if you not follow, you can get the syntax errors. Syntax errors, there is no reasons. You should have to follow. That's it. Okay, whenever you create a variable with like some of the data is like integer and some of the data is like some characters, alphabets, like this, that time you should not enter like this, should not assign the value like this. In the alphanumeric format, if you want to pass the data, that time you have to keep the data in the stringified format. Now it is going to work as expected or not? Understood or not? Like a normal number you should not assign. Number is like okay, but wherever the okay, alphabets there in your data, that is turned to be like a string only. the entire value turned to be like a string. So how we can define a string? Okay, the value should enclosed with double quote or single quote or triple quote also in Python. Either you can write a double quote like this, either you can write single quote like this, either you can define triple quote also. In Python, these many ways are there to create a string value. Okay, with the double quote, see this, valid. With the single quote, yes, valid. At the time of string, at the time of string discussion, okay, we have a discussion on string with their methods. That time you can come to know how we can define. For now, you can remember it. What's wrong with this one? You can define with the triple quote also. Triple quote also. Okay, if I write like this, if I write like this, now see this, what happened? Observe here, what happened? Hmm? These three treated like what? A string, right? Treated like a string. After that, how many are there? These two and these two taken like a normal characters only or not? Yes or no? This is like a symbols. They treated like a symbols or not? Agree with me? It's not a syntax error. Treated like a general normal, okay, symbols. Okay, at the time of string discussion we'll see. At the time of string definition, okay, string, we have one class on strings. Okay, that time we discussed how to create and how to use the string class each and every method. How to use the string class each and every method, that time we can. Okay, any questions so far? Any questions so far? Okay, if I run this statement, what happened in Python? If I run this statement, what happened in Python? If I run this statement, okay, in my command prompt, just I open the command prompt. If I run it, okay, what happened? Come on, any one of you.
LOC is not defined.
There has an error called as a name LOC is not defined or not. Whenever you get this kind of errors, what you can understand? Whenever you get is not defined errors, what you can understand? You are looking for one member, that member is not available in the context or not. Context is nothing but in that particular area that member is not available. That time, can you fix the error is like what? Location equals to Sachin, like this. Okay, location equals to Mumbai, like this. You can fix it or not? Yes sir. Okay then. Now come back to our discussion about the data types in Python. Data types in Python. Now my question is very simple, straight question. At the time of creating the variable, okay, are you able to find the type of my variable like Java? Do we have any? Do we have any data types like int, string, boolean like that? Do we have any? Syntactically tell me first. Syntactically tell me. No, right? Okay, why? Because Python, whenever you create a variable, there is no data type, nothing we are going to mention. But okay, each and every, okay, variable holds some data. That particular data, that particular data type, you can find it. That particular data type, you can find it. Now take one case. Take one case. I have some amount. I want to store it for future purpose. Can you tell me how you can store in my Python program? I have some amount I want to store for future purpose. In Python program, how we can store it? Simply my amount equals to 1000, like this or not. Now here my 1000 is the value, right? Is my data, right? This 1000 type is what? Type is what in Python? Okay, here there is no int, nothing. There is no int, there is no string, there is no data types, nothing. Okay, but the data is this one, right? Okay, in the memory, this is the data. That data pointing by amount. This data type is what? This data type is what in Python. If you want to find the type of your data in Python, we have one predefined function is there. Okay, you don't know about the functions, but you can remember for now. Okay, now my Python environment, my amount equals to, okay, 1000. Now you can find the type of my amount. If I click on enter, now see, this is which kind of type. Come on, this is which type? The data type is what? The data type is what? The
Integer.
data type is like an integer or not? Yes or no? But here, by seeing this one, I don't know. Okay, why? Because not like Java, it's not a type strict or not. Okay? Okay, then. One more case. I want one player. Okay, I want one player. I want to tell something about that player later. But I want that player. First of all, I want to store that player. Okay, how we can store the player? Player is like a such. How we can store it? Come on, how we can store it? Take one simple cases. Don't think more. How we can store it? I want to tell something about Sachin later. First of all, to whom I have to tell that person name, that player name, I want to store it. How we can store? If you want to store the data, any programming language, how we can store the data using variables or not? So my player name is equals to my player name equals to. Can I add like a Sachin? It's a valid or invalid? Come on.
Valid.
Player name equals to Sachin. Okay, give proper name. Give proper name. It's a value. Now tell me, what is the type of this one? What is the type of this one? Okay, it is not like a Java. It's not
You
like a type strict. If I click on enter, now see this. The type of this particular player name is like what? STR. What is this STR? We'll see that one. For now, just remember, it's not a big deal for you. Understood or not? Agreed, everyone? Okay, okay then. I have one student. I have one student. That student percent marks percentage is like, okay, 86.8. The student marks percent is like 86.8. So how we can represent the data? The marks percent is like 86.8. How we can represent the data? Marks, okay, or STD marks percent, no problem at all. You can write proper name is equals to 86, come on, 86.8 or not. Valid syntax or invalid syntax? In Python, variable name and value, 100% it's valid or not? 100% it is valid. Okay, STD marks percent is equals to 86.8. Now STD marks percent. Why this error? Why this error? No other thought. Read the error message. Name STD marks percent is not defined. That means this one is not defined. Okay, check what you defined. See this. PRCE you defined. NT there or not there? Not there, right? So that you are trying to access this variable. That variable defined or not? That variable is not defined. So that the error is what? See here, error is what? Immediately how to tell error is, okay, this variable is not defined or not. How to fix this one? Previous one leave it. Now this is the one 86.8. Now the value is what? 86.8. Okay, now what is the type of this one? What is the type of this one? What is the type of this one? It is a float data type or not? It is what? A float data type or not? Understood? Up to here, okay? Simple things. Okay? Okay, then. The next one. One student is there. Just I want to tell to outside people, is that student pass or fail? That's it. one student is there, is that student passed or failed? That's it. I want to tell, I want to represent the data. Is he passed or not? I want to represent the data. How? Come on, what is the variable name? Is he pass? Okay, true or false or? Can you write it? Is valid syntax or not? Tell me first. Is it valid or invalid? Can we check it? Just check it. Now come here. Is he pass? Is he pass? Is equals to true. If I click on enter, what happened? If I click on enter, what happened? If I click on enter, what happened? See this. It gives me an error. It gives me an error. It gives me an error. Why this error? Anyone guess? Anyone guess?
True is not defined.
Yeah, why? True is okay now. Okay.
Already it is
Your voice is breaking. Are you able to hear any one of you his voice? Okay. Okay then. See here. Now come here. Okay, one small use case you can take it. Yeah. If I execute this one, can anyone guess what is the error? Error only. What is the error? Hmm. Come on. Name number is not defined or not. Yes or no? Name number is not defined. Yes, no. Come on. Okay. Is it valid or invalid?
Valid.
100% valid. The difference between this one and this one is what? If you observe the name, you enclosed with what? Enclosed with what? Double quote. It's a kind of string type, right? Inside this one, whatever you have, it's not a matter. The string value you assign to whom? One variable. In 100% valid or invalid syntax. 100% valid or not. So my name is like number. But here, name is like number. It's like a stringified value. No, no. Yes or no? It's a number. No. It is something else. I don't know. But here, my number is not enclosed with any double code or single code or triple code. Then that time it's a okay, it's treated like what? It is treated like a one more variable. Okay, it is refers to some value, treated like that. So it is looking for what? Okay, it is looking for the number which is refers some value. First it refers some value means first it is looking for this n1, okay, number. After that it is pointing to which value we can take it assigned to name. First it is looking for what? Number. Is there any number variable is there? Is there any number variable defined anywhere? No. If that number variable itself not there, okay, no need to think about which value it has. So first of all, number is not there, so that it gives me an error like what? Number is not defined or not. Okay, now if I write like this, valid or invalid? This number is not enclosed with double quote or single quote, so that it's treated like what? A variable. Now it is looking for the variable. That variable there or not there? Yes, there. What is the value? 10 is the value. So this number is pointing to this 10. This 10 is assigned to what? Name. So my name value is like what? My name is 10 or not? It is like 100% valid syntax or not? Yes or no? Now if you come to our scenario, what is that? Const. Okay, sorry. Okay, my std is he passed is equals to true. is equals to true. First of all, it gives me an error like what? True is not defined. Name true is not defined. First thing is like, is it enclosed with double quote or single quote? Is it enclosed with double quote or single quote? No. Is it like any predefined value in Python? Is it like any predefined value? Predefined is nothing but first checking the keywords. Is my true, which is like small, starts with small. Is it like any predefined variable, predefined value in Python? Is it like predefined value in Python? No. Okay, if it is not predefined value in Python, okay, it is not like a string. Now it is looking for what? This true variable or not? Is any true variable defined? No, right? If the true variable itself not defined, then the time, what is the error you can get it? What is the error you can get it? Name true is not defined. At the same time, the helper also you can see here. Did you mean true? Okay, that means capital T. Already we discussed about what? Already we discussed about what? Reserved words. Reserved words. Okay, in the reserved words, did you observe? One of the reserved word, capital T, true. Capital F, false. There are not there. Those are like predefined values or not to represent the boolean, either true or false. So if you want, your requirement is like, if you want to represent one person is like pass or fail. If you want to assign either true or false value, can you use the predefined value? So is he pass equals to, can I write like this? Is he pass equals to, can I write like this? If you don't have any data, is he pass equals to, what is that? Is there null is there? Come on. None is there. None. None is there. None means no value. Okay. Pass true, you can capital T. Okay. False, you can put like a capital F or not. Yes or no? So is he pass equals to true? Is he pass? The value is like true. My type is what? Is he pass? The value type is what? Boolean or not? Yes or no? When you can go with the boolean, if you want to tell, if you want to represent the data there or not there, true false, is he passed or not passed, okay, some positive or negative value if you want to tell either true false, then you can go with the boolean or not. Yes or no? If you want to store the numbers, you can go with like this. If you want to store some strings, you can go with string data. If you want to go with okay, float value, yes, you can go with the float value like this. If you want to tell something else, okay, is he pass or not pass, or then that time you can go with this value or not. Yes or no? Up here, okay, everyone? Up here, okay? Okay, then the next one. I have one player is there. You represent the data like this. Okay, player name is like Sachin. Now my thing is I have three players, Sachin, Dhoni, Kohli. Okay, these three players I want, okay, in future. Okay, I want to use these three players. Okay, some other requirement is there. I want to use these three players. For now, okay, before using these three players, you have to store somewhere or not. Then only, right? Whenever you require, you can use it or not. So how we can represent these three players? One player you can represent, player name is like Sachin. Yes. But now not one player. Now this is the time for what? Three players or not. I want to represent the data which contains multiple players. Which data format is recommended in Python? That is the question. Come on. Okay, so the data format is list format. Very simple, right? One player, okay. Three players, list of players, right? Simply list of players or not. So how we can write it? Come on. How we can write the name, which recommended name? Tell me. Recommended name. One player is their player name. Okay. Three players. Players. Okay. Players. Now list na string means I said like double quote. Okay, number directly you can put it. Directly you can put it. Okay, true means predefined values are there. Okay, if you want to represent a list, okay, it is like a square bracket like this. Inside this one, I want to add like a Sachin, I want to add like a Dhoni, and I want to add like a Kohli or not. Yes or no? Now, can you come here? It is valid or not? Now, my type of my players is what? Say this. My type of my players is what? Tell me, the type of the players is what? List. Okay, when you can go with the list? Can anyone tell me one line answer? When you can go with the list? List data type, when you can go? If you want to represent multiple values, okay, if you want to represent multiple values with a single variable name, with a single variable, multiple values with a single variable, then you can go with the list or not. We have a separate discussion at the time of list data type. Okay, we have a separate discussion is there, that time we can discuss, but one line answers you have to remember. If you have multiple values, if you want to represent with a single variable, yes or no, then can you go with the list? Okay, I have three students, you can go with what? I have three students, you can go with what? Come on, I have three students, you can go with what? List only or not? Yes or no? Not only list, there has some other, okay, data types also there to represent multiple players. Okay, that means multiple values with a single variable. There has one more is what, my players. Okay, players is equals to Sachin, Dhoni, and Kohli. Kohli. Okay, it's a kind of array, but there are some differences out there. Okay, now can you come here? See, is it valid or invalid? Is it valid or invalid? This time my syntax is not okay, square bracket. Okay, now the syntax is like this bracket. See this. Now, is it valid or invalid? Now check it. Okay, now see my players. Yes, 1, 2, 3 players. I'm able to represent or not? My type of players what? My type of players what? Come on, read it. Tuple or not? Now, see, if you want to represent, if you want to represent multiple values with a single variable, you can go with format that is called as a list. If you want to represent multiple values with a single variable with this kind of bracket, it is called as a tuple. It is called as a tuple. Now you can ask a question. Hey, okay, here also multiple values we can represent with a single variable. Here also multiple values we represent with a single variable. Now what's your question? Simple, na? What is the difference between this list and a tuple? When you can go with list to represent the multiple values with a single variable, when you can go with the tuple to represent the multiple values with a single variable, that is the question or not? Yes or no? Come on, both are like syntactically valid. Both are pointing to multiple values in a single variable. But when you can go with the list, when you can go with the tuple, that is only your question or not? Yes or no? Okay, that answer you can get it at the time of list and the tuple, both discussions completed. That time you can understand like what is the difference or not. Yes or no? But now, one word, one line answers I want. Okay, this is one data type. Now, there has one more also. Multiple data types, okay, that multiple values represent using a single variable. Now, this time, this brace, curly brace. Now, is it valid or invalid? Can you check it first? Is it valid or invalid? Here also multiple values are there. Here also multiple values are there. Pointing with which variable? One variable only. But the difference here, square bracket to here, this kind of bracket, and there curly braces like this. Now valid or invalid? See this, there is no error, nothing means syntactically valid or not. Can you check the type players? Can you check the type players? Now what is that player? Come on. What is the type? Set is the type or not? Now you can add one more. What happened? Every time it is going. Yeah, this is called as what? This is called as a set or not. Now one more point you can add in your doubts list. If you want to represent multiple values with a single variable, I can go with the list. If you want to represent multiple values with a single variable, I can go with the tuple. If you want to represent multiple values with a single variable, I can go with the set. Okay, now the question is what? Hey, when you can go with the list, when you can go with the tuple, okay, when you can go with the set. That is your question or not? Yes or no? That is your question or not? Okay, now? Okay, then. Now, multiple values you represent or you hold with a single variable using list possible, using tuple possible, using set possible. The next one, I want to tell something about one player only. I want to tell something about only one player, that is Sachin. Okay, how? Okay, you want to tell something about only one player, Sachin. Very simple. Name Sachin. Okay, runs 20,000. Location Mumbai. Okay, the next one, hundreds, 100. Like that, I want to represent some data about one particle. One particle may be a Sachin, maybe some other, whoever it is. See, can I write his name is like what? Okay, Sachin. His runs is like what? 20,000. His location is what? His location is what? Mumbai or not? Okay, this is about what? Okay, Sachin data. Sachin data or not? Is it like valid syntax or invalid? Now see, here you can tell how much you want, that much you can tell about the Sachin or not. Name Sachin, runs 20,000, location. Okay, three values, three properties only. I'm telling something about Sachin. In future 300, yes, you can add 300. What's wrong with this one? Now can I copy this one? Can you come here? Okay. Now if you click on this one, okay, it gives me some error. Okay, don't worry about that one. Okay, just you can write like this. Okay, Sachin data. Okay, you can write like a data. Okay, what is the one? Name is like what? Sachin or not? Name is like a Sachin. Now here na, name is not defined means you can make it like a string format. Now see my data. Name is Sachin. Okay, same like this. If you want one more property, runs, okay, 20,000. Yes, this is my data or not? Can I write like a type of my data? What is this one? What is this one? Dictionary or not? Dict. Okay, one by one. Integer data, it is one type. String data, this is one type. Next, boolean, this is one type. Float, this is one type. List, one type. Okay, tuple, one type of data. Next, set, one type of data. The next one is like what? Dictionary, it is one kind of data or not? These are the most of the times different data formats. Range also there, will tell. Understood or not? If you want to represent some amount, okay, then you can go with integer. If you want to represent something else, okay, something like alphabets, like Sachin, Dhoni, Kohli, you can go with a string. If you want to tell something about either negative or positive response, like true, false, that kind of, then you can go with the boolean. If you want to tell something about like, okay, decimal, then you can go with the float. Okay, now if you want to represent multiple values with a single variable, list. Multiple values with a single variable, tuple. Multiple values with a single variable, set. And if you want to represent something about, if you want to represent something about one particle, Okay, player, student, some other, whoever it is. If you want to represent something about one particle, okay, then the time you can go with what? Then the time you can go with what? Then the time you can go with a dictionary or not. Understood? Okay, now you know one word, okay, one line answers. Okay, now okay, we are going to discuss okay deep discussion about each and every data type in future one by one we can. Agreed everyone? So for good?